NATA reports that tens of millions of taxpayer dollars are being wasted on de-radicalisation programs, which in some cases are doing the exact opposite of what they're meant for and connecting at-risk teenagers with extreme Islamist recruiters. Can you believe this? One frustrated youth worker has told the Australian newspaper that extremist gangs are using activities such as public barbecues to target youths. He says by bringing young people who are at risk of radicalisation together in this fashion, it's like shooting fish in a barrel for recruiters. Sarkis Akmar, who has dedicated much of his life to working with troubled teens in Sydney's southwest, says these initiatives are deeply flawed and he's calling for change. He also joins me right now. Sarkis, welcome to the program.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you, mate. Good to have you on. When these de-radicalisation programs came in, it was 2015. You would have been a fan, would you not? Because you were watching kids, teenagers, twisting to a very dark side.
Came out originally thinking there was going to be massive changes, but then I just started to see a reverse effect take place.
So when you say reverse effect, are you suggesting that those who are part of conducting these get-togethers to touch the flesh and find out how at risk these teenagers are you suggesting that they're infiltrating these gatherings?
100%. On a couple of occasions when other particular services were holding community events such as barbecues or sporting events, you'd notice that these extremists were deploying themselves as volunteers and youth workers and mixing in the crowd and fishing young people out, pulling them aside and actually trying to indoctrinate them and win them over.
So how does this happen? Why isn't there the support services to detect who people are, with a little bit of knowledge on the ground, a bit of intelligence about who the neighbourhood gangs are, to be able to weed these extremists out of the crowd?
How they're finding their way, they're using the system against itself. Now, a big part of this is that people keep referring to extremists who come from a particular community group or religious affiliation. That couldn't be further away from the truth. These extremists are not connected in any way with any religion or any community group. They are connected only with criminal activity, who are predators and who are looking to use the system against itself and gain the confidence of these young people and use them for their own dirty deeds.
Apart from today, have you offered this kind of review of what's going on to your superiors or the government?
I have spoken multiple times to people who fall in the higher ranks. Now, certain people I've spoken to who are up there in the government have been fantastic and heeded what I've had to say. The problem we're having is, and this is what really triggered me recently, was the service that I used to work for, and we specialise in street work, youth street work. It's different to holding public barbecues and events. We're actually out on the street on all hours of the day and night, reaching young people from all facets and all the demographics. They have stripped away, slowly but surely, a lot of our funding, and they have thrown the funding into a certain organisation or two, whom we had the problem of these extremists infiltrating. Not only was the funding linked over to these other services and organisations, but they came back to us requesting if we can excuse our workers and my time to go out with their workers to teach them how this kind of work is done. And I just sat there dumbfounded. I couldn't believe it.
What an insult.
An insult? Well, I actually left my role. I left my work after everything I had done, and on those occasions, I was not going to walk away. I just felt like I risked everything for nothing.
What is your message tonight, therefore, to the government, the state government in New South Wales, and hopefully this isn't happening around Australia? What should they do about this right away?
What they should do is have a real good look at the existing services that are doing the work and the results are showing and have been around for a long time. And instead of putting the money out to tender and people jumping on the bandwagon, call these services in, talk to them, and fund them to intensify and making them accountable with the results speaking for themselves.
Yeah.
That's all I'm asking.
Yeah.
These young people, we are losing them by the droves. And everyone is just sitting there finger pointing. And I feel like just backdoor deals are being done because of, names that have a stand in the media.
Yeah, it's wrong. You've now laid down, the law in that neck of the woods. Hopefully, those that can change the way these things operate are listening, and hopefully something's done. Thank you very much for your time tonight.
Thank you for your time, Chris.
Don't be silly. No, Sarkis Akmar. Something has to be done about that. If we're losing that many, it's working in reverse.